Okay, now what we're gonna do is actually talk about the cleaning of the Glock, some do's and don'ts, because there is a lot of myths out there, a lot of crazy stuff I've heard, so let's just blow those all out of the water so we can do it correctly. So again, the first thing we always do when we clean a firearm is to make sure that it's unloaded. That is always the first step in cleaning any firearm. So we're going to remove the magazine. We're going to lock the slide to the rear with our slide stop and ensure that the firearm is unloaded. And the firearm is actually unloaded. So now I'm going to go over the disassembly. I'm going to go through the disassembly of my Glock 17. There is another video that goes through all of that on a Glock 17 or any Glock variety for that matter. So now I've broken down the gun into its major parts: your frame, slide, recoil spring and recoil spring guide, your barrel, and then your magazine. So first things to be talking about with a Glock 17 or any striker fired pistol for that matter, the first things first is you want to keep this striker channel absolutely clear. So this area right here, this is actually your striker, which is another name for a firing pin. So this is your striker channel that goes all the way to the front to the breech face right here that actually interfaces on the round. And this part right here, this hole right here, is actually a gas let-off valve for all the gases. So a lot of people think, and police officers are the absolute worst at doing this, and sorry guys, I've worked on a lot of police guns as a law enforcement armor. They think that you have to lubricate into this area and clean this area. No, this striker channel needs to be dry. The more gunk and solvent and oil that you get in there, it will actually seize up the striker and the gun will no longer fire. So a couple points that you want to clean on your slide here is the slide rails. This slide rail interfaces into your frame rail. So this is absolutely crucial that the slide rails on your slide are cleaned and lubricated. So cleaned and lubricated. So a great tool that I use is a paint scraper. And what I actually use is a patch, or my cloths that I use are 100% cotton. So you just tear up or cut up old t-shirts and they work great. So I take my my patch, and then what I do is I actually clean down this slide rail with that patch. And it really cleans that slide rail and gets all my gunk out of there. The next part that needs to be really cleaned and lubricated, as well as these channels in here that actually interface onto the lower part of the gun. So clean those out, take that patch and just clean it out. If it's really gunky, what I recommend is using a solvent. So I like Break Free or any kind of CLP, which stands for Clean, Lubricate, and Protect. So that's really good. And then I also use a synthetic lubricant. The reason I use a synthetic lubricant is because unlike a regular lubricant, synthetics, when they get hotter, they actually work better. It's just like a synthetic lubricant in your car. So I don't recommend spraying into this area with your solvent. Take a patch and spray on the patch itself, and then clean the area with that patch that has solvent on it. If it gets exceptionally dirty, I like to use a nylon bristle brush and then just clean those areas out. One area that gets exceptionally dirty is this breech face, and the extractor gets extremely dirty. So just a good once over with your brush, good idea. Something that's a little harder to get off of, use like a copper brush or a brass brush. I do not recommend using any steel brushes. Do not use the same level hardness steel as you're scrubbing the steel. It'll actually scratch your finish on your gun. So then wipe everything down. This area right here is what we call our safety plunger. This does not need to have lubricant just shoved in on it. Again, just nice and easy, just be easy with it. In and around these areas, the top part of your slide and into your barrel sleeve and your recoil spring sleeve. So clean all that in there and you'll be good to go. The exterior, just give it a quick spray down and then wipe it down. So the areas in here, again, clean and lubricate. Just do not clean and lubricate with solvent the striker channel and this safety plunger. The exterior, just wipe it down with a solvent. Don't need to lubricate it because you don't want to have the exterior gun nice and slippery. So once you've got your slide done, you've got it clean and lubricated, you're good to go. Your barrel. So your barrel, the exterior of your barrel needs to be cleaned and lubricated. So again, clean and lubricate this. I'm going to show you how much lubricant you actually need on your gun. So I'm just going to literally just put with my needle dropper, you can see how little I put on that, and then just spread that around your finger. Okay, that is a properly lubricated barrel. Nothing more. You do not want to have oil leaking from your gun. Another area that needs to be cleaned on your barrel is this portion right here, is what we call our feed ram. So the round itself, the whole complete round, the bullet, the casing and everything is actually going to strike this from the magazine and come into your chamber. So this needs to be cleaned. Just clean that out, just get it nice and clean. Now, when it comes to actually cleaning the inside of your barrel, what I like to do is I like to take my solvent and I actually like to spray it in my barrel, okay? In my barrel. And one of the best things that I use to clean my barrels are what they call bore snakes. These bore snakes are great because they're reasonably priced and it does everything in one fell swoop. It has the copper brush right here, and then it has the part that actually traps the solvent. The old school method is using a rod, but then you have to put all the rods together. These are great. And then you can also wash them. Like my rags and these barrel bore snakes, I can actually wash them. I just put them in a Homer's bucket with detergent, wash them out, spray them out with a hose, and then you're good to go. But at no point do you put any of these that are covered in petroleum products in your washer or dryer because you will set fire to your house. So once you have your break-free or your solvent sprayed down there, you're just going to take your bore snake, put it down through your barrel, and then just a once over, just a couple strokes through, and then you're good to go. So what does not go in your barrel is lubricant. Do not put lubricant in your barrel. You want to use your bore snake to dry that barrel out, because you don't want anything wet in your barrel, because what it actually can happen is when the gun goes off and the powder actually burns, the powder is burning down the barrel, pressure is increasing and sending the bullet out the barrel. Any kind of wetness in there could possibly extinguish that flame, and your bullet will get stuck in the barrel and cause what we commonly refer to as a squib round. And that squib round will get stuck there, and if you actually fire another round behind that, trying to push that through and not knowing that, the gun can actually detonate and go backwards and detonate in your hands. So it's nothing to be super concerned about. Just don't put lubricant down your barrel. And no, it does not enhance muzzle velocity. Like I've heard before, you won't get enhanced muzzle velocity for a lubricated barrel inside. The recoil spring guide, just give it a good once over with your rag, and then you're good to go. Okay. Once we have all of that cleaned and lubricated, the last part that we're going to clean and lubricate is the frame. So a couple points on the frame. So you have your frame rails like we talked about. These are parts that interface with the slide. So your slide is reciprocating at a very high speed. So you can see how they're moving back and forth. These are friction points. So you want to clean and lubricate these metal portions, or what we call our slide rails. Okay, I mean our frame rails, I apologize. Then the actual locking block right here has a friction point here. So clean and lubricate that. Just wipe it down, get into each and crevice, and then once you clean it with a solvent, then you're going to lubricate it with a lubricant. Right? The next part that you have to be exceptionally careful with are these what we call slide stops. So a lot of people like to put rags down into the mag well here and start pulling and yanking on it. Well, if it catches on these slide stops and you yank hard enough, you can actually snap off your slide stops, and then it will be a call to me to put these back in. Okay. The last part is right in here where our sear block is at. This is our ejector, and then our sear block back here. So I have seen many people really want to clean the interior of that and shove Q-tips down into the sear block. Understand, if you shove a Q-tip down there, there's a high likelihood that you will shove a Q-tip down and it will decapitate the Q-tip, and you will have a decapitated Q-tip stuck in there. The record I've seen is 4 decapitated Q-tips in there, and it's not a good day. All I have to do is just punch a couple pins out. It's going to take me a couple seconds, but again, a Glock certified armor should only be doing that. So just cleaning around this area with a Q-tip. Don't get highly aggressive with it. In and around your trigger bar right here. Again, it doesn't have to be, the biggest thing with this, it does not have to be white glove cleaned. These guns can go through a lot of abuse. The more you maintain them, just like your car, can your car go past the 3,000 or 5,000 mile mark for an oil change? Absolutely, but the longevity of your car actually goes down. So What we recommend is cleaning it after every time you shoot, but can it go longer than that? Absolutely. But just taking good care of your gun is absolutely crucial. So once you've cleaned all that, you don't need to clean and lubricate the polymer on it or the plastic, the grip. Do not need to lubricate polymer. It's perfectly okay. The last part is the magazine. Anything that's magazine related should be dry. So you should not be putting any solvents or any lubricants into your magazine. If you wish to disassemble them, that's always a good idea. The part that gets exceptionally dirty is this follower right here that the rounds are actually sitting on top of. Clean that out and you're good to go. But no lubricants, no solvents in your magazines. Same thing with your magazine wheel. No lubricants or solvents. The last part that I like to talk about is any weapons mounted light, okay? So our weapons mounted lights are absolutely life-saving tools. So this bezel, this glass will get dirty over time from the carbon. So I have seen people clean these with pencil erasers, pumice soap, toothpaste. All the common denominator between all of those they are abrasive. So this is glass. Or some of them use actually polycarbonate or plastic. If you put any of that abrasive on there, it will scratch your glass. And what it will actually do is diminish the quality of your light as it's getting sent through this actual lens right here. So if you're going to clean the lens of your flashlight or your weapon mounted light because there's carbon on there, use whatever you use to clean a high quality optic. Whatever you clean binoculars or telescopes or your high dollar Gucci glasses. That's what you use to clean that, not anything else. Don't put chapstick on it. Don't use any of that stuff. Just use what you use for high quality cleaners. If you guys have any questions about anything, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Check us out. Set up a private lesson for us. I'm going over the Glock today because it's one of the most popular guns out there. But if you set up a private lesson with us and you have a different type of firearms, it's our job now to teach you that. So we can actually walk you through the particular firearm that you chose recently, and we can actually walk you through the disassembly, any questions that you have with the firearm, and then reassembly so that we can get you on the right path. I'm Josh from Guardian Training Consulting. Have a great day.